They have finally traded Jakob Chychrun.
Yes, to a team that
And
we thought was out of it.
man, first off, I want to apologize to Pierre Dorian. He was patient. He's kept all his prospects, and Jakob Chychrun is an Ottawa Senator, and he is doing everything in his power to show that he loves being an Ottawa Senator. By the way, socials, playing, like Jakob Chychrun has done. He's been. It's a great start in Ottawa. Scored the other day. Grandpa
Hmm.
was there. It was looking. It was emotional. It was great stuff.
He's happy. He's
Yeah,
happy. He's playing. You know what I mean?
that's what
He's happy.
this
He's actually playing.
like that's what the Sens need. Happy. So they've been winning lately. Like it's just good for Ottawa. The Coyotes, however, oh, I have been waiting to talk about this. Jakob Chychrun has been in the trade discussions in the trade world, the trade block, whatever you want to call it, for more than a year. The Brent Burns return was what they wanted. Young prospects aplenty, with the picks as well. The big selling point, he has term, he's a great cap hit. A player
He's
who I
young.
said a couple of years ago was better than Morgan Riley, should be on the Olympic team over Morgan Riley. I stand by that, by the way. Um, this was the caliber of player. There was no player available like him with this term and this great a cap hit, this ability. They did not get a single prospect. They received a conditional first this year, a conditional second in 2024, and the 2026 second rounder. The 2023 first round pick is top five protected. If the conditions are met, it becomes a 2024 pick. Should Ottawa reach the Eastern Conference Finals this year, the second becomes a first in 2024, and that pick would be top 10 protected. If the condition is met, the pick becomes a 2025 first rounder unprotected. They're not going to make the conference finals. Like, they're not making the conference finals this year. Then again, Ottawa do have a bit of magic to them, but they won't really care if they give it that pick because they have their young core. Doesn't matter. Yeah, they need a goalie, but we can talk about it. Maybe it's anyway. We can talk about it another time.
Hmm.
I Daniel, I just want to
I don't
all
know.
of that,
Yeah,
and they didn't get a single prospect, a first and 2 seconds.
it's very anticlimactic because I think we built this up so much to say like what would the ideal package be, and it's funny when we were looking about like scenarios of other teams of what was going to be given up, we just overshot it, and then this is what happens. Maybe this is what the Coyotes did too. Like, did they wait too long for this? I think they did.
So here's what's really funny to me, Daniel. If we go and get Arizona's cap friendly up very quickly, I've been waiting for it. I've been stewing on this for a while. This is what we know. I mentioned for a very specific reason that the Coyotes wanted the value of Chychrun because of his contract situation, right?
Hmm.
Apparently, this basically came from Doug Armstrong's mouth. I'm going to paraphrase here. A big reason why the deal got done with Ottawa, specifically, is because in that trade, the Coyotes would not have to retain any money on one of the best value contracts we've ever seen available at the deadline. Now, Daniel, I want to quickly read you some stuff on Cap Friendly. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just quickly look at something here. They currently are paying retained wise $1 million, just under 990,000. They are paying Oliver Ekman Larson not to play for them. 2.6 of their cap hit was involved in the Patrick Kane deal and the Bukestad deal, but those are okay. Those are fine, right? Those are, they moved the OEL contracts, so they don't have to pay them. And the K, or nearly as much as obviously the Vancouver Canucks are going to. And, the Kane and Bukestad deal got them assets. That's not bad. This is where I get a little mad. They have the Brian Little contract, do not forget, Daniel. Okay. The cap hit of that is $5.2 million for this year and next. For the rest of this year, Andrew Ladd just got hurt, I'm pretty sure. But let's be honest, they took that deal not because he's a good player, because unfortunately he's not anymore. We took it for the contract. Shea Weber basically makes no real money anymore. They get him from Vegas, 4 years left, UFA. Jacob Voracek, they just acquired an insured contract. $8 million is the cap hit. Let us not forget about who are some other former Coyotes who have never actually played. Pavel Datsyuk's trade a couple of years ago. Chris Pronger. So I mentioned those cap hits. Now I am going to actually get the total salary up for a second. Because if we go to those players, so Jacob Voracek makes $6.2 million. Let's not forget it's an insured contract though. Shea Weber actually only makes $3 million. That who knows how much that has actually been paid this season. $1 million years after that. Andrew Ladd is only $4 million. Brian Little is around 4.7, then it goes down to 3.7. Someone has done the math on this. It is nearly this team is going to struggle to hit the floor of the cap next year. Okay? This is a team that is paying a large majority of its cap to players to not play for them. I cannot explain to people who do not know how the cap works how shady and bad for the league the Coyotes are right now. That they are hitting the cap floor, struggling to hit the cap floor while actually spending as little money as possible. And they couldn't get the best return for Chychrun because they wouldn't retain on a value contract to start. That's the state the Coyotes are in and that the league allowed to happen. Oh, but
Yeah.
you know what? We're going to doubt Shea Weber really being hurt after the finals, a guy who has not played since. But oh my God, the Coyotes can be the cheapest sons of guns in the world. We can't retain on a $4 million cap hit on an Olympic caliber player. And we can't maximize the return of the guy we sat for 2 weeks to protect our asset. His agent won't even go on Ottawa radio and admit that they did not get what they wanted. And then they try and say Chychrun wanted out where you already wanted to trade him. What?
Yeah, I would have wanted out if I was sitting for 2 weeks. I don't understand. Yeah, honestly, the Coyotes, it's just they could do everything left and right, and I won't understand because that amount of money going to non-players at this point, and then it's just weird. Like, why was there no like, okay, let's come to an agreement, let's come to the middle ground with Jakob Chychrun when really, like, I think they just shot themselves in the foot with this because best case scenario for them is that second becoming another first, which I really doubt was going to happen. Okay, yeah, but best case scenario. And still at that point, it's like, hey, was that really like the best you can do for Jakob Chychrun, like on the Coyotes standpoint from things? Because again, like it just felt like the flurry of trades happening, they held on way too long still. They still held on way too long. The demands they had and the conditions they had on the salary retention, on where he's going to go, what they want to do with this, making him sit. It just affected the value so much. And I think it just becomes more of like that minor, not a minor trade, but it's like, a substantial trade at this point, but not the biggest trade of what we thought it was going to be, especially the way the deadline went, because it really was a buyer's market and you couldn't do better than that.
Uh, I'm not disappointed in the Coyotes. I am disappointed in the league for allowing this to happen. This is a franchise that has already been ripped nonstop. I continue to say if they win Connor Bedard, he will not get to play in the full NHL rank until probably his second contract in this league. This is the state we're in. This is a state that the league is like, oh, this is fine. This is great. And all the other owners are enabling this and they're going to pay, the revenue sharing. And this is the way we are in the National Hockey League. This is our league. This is the sport that we love. And this is the way it gets treated by Arizona Coyotes ownership.
I'm just thinking like,
come on.
I'm thinking of if I'm Logan Cooley right now in college, am I signing early? Am I signing out of school early?
Well, he won't even be there. I bet at the end of his career, it'll be the whole thing of like everyone gets traded because they keep rebuilding. I like when I heard people saying the Coyotes are going to be busy because they're rebuilding again. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why are we pointing this out? Dude, I thought they already were, and this was well known. Why are they're rebuilding again? Nothing was built.
I guess like there's that one year they beat the Predators, and it's like, okay, yeah,
that
that's
was
a
the
success.
plan. Come on.
Yeah.
When was the last time the Coyotes finished outside the bottom 10 of the league?
I think 2012. That's when they went to the Western Conference Finals.
I was in elementary school.
That was when
I'm 23, Daniel.
Because of that season, Mike Smith made the Olympic team 2 years later.
I hate this league. I hate them so much.